Welcome all. We are exactly 1 week since the kickoff of COP28 in Dubai. And we are today the 8th December, this very symbolic date of the International Climate Day. This is also what we invite you to talk on. And with this first edition, this is also this naming event, International Climate, and it's today. So, climate change, what else? Because we all know life can change without knocking on the door. This is also what we invite you to talk on. This is also what we invite you to talk on. And this is the first edition of the naming event. International Climate, and this is today. So climate change, what else? Because we all know that life can change without knocking on the door. Let's concretely link this editor to science for all decisions and actions that we need of today. With my co-chair, Isabelle Czernikowski-Loriol, and my co-chair in Dubai in COP28, Dr. Pradeep Monga, like a bridge from Paris to Dubai, with a first science editor perspective. So we are also grateful, powered by our two major institution research agency, the BERGM, the French Geological Survey, with Christophe Poinceau, the General and Scientific Director, and the CNRS, the French National Science Research Agency Center, with Dr. Antoine Petit, the Chairman. Grateful for two of you, and gathering people like an open and do-tank platform now. An hybrid event from Paris to Dubai, and in a studio TV with a very limited VIP. So let's take like this, like a microcop from Paris to Dubai. And I let the floor now to my co-chair, Isabelle.
Okay, thank you, Fabrice. I'm very happy to co-chair with you and Pradeep this third climate event. We organize one per year, and for this 2023 edition, our choice was to highlight the International Climate Day on 8 December by organizing this very special event from Paris, where the Paris Global Agreement was adopted in December 2015, and with connection to Dubai, where COP28 is ongoing. So our wish is to facilitate exchanges between scientists, policymakers, investors, citizens, startups, and various organizations, because we absolutely need to speed up the implementations of solutions for mitigating and adapting to climate change. And for this 2023 edition, we will also be giving an award to recognize the remarkable work carried out by an organization to safeguard the climate and the environment. So I will now introduce our third co-chair, Pradeep Monga, who is in Dubai. Pradeep is a senior board advisor and director of policy at the World Biogas Association. He's also the former deputy executive of UNCCD, with the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, and is a former director of UNIDO, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization. Pradeep, please.
Thank you. Colleagues, friends, partners, I'm very happy to join other two co-chairs, Fabrice and Isabelle, who are based in Paris at present. I'm speaking from COP28 at Dubai. This is my pleasure to really represent International Climate Day on behalf of all colleagues at COP28, which is really linking unite, act, and deliver. So far, I'm so excited to join many sessions as a panelist and also moderated 2 sessions where everything comes out very clearly, connecting the dots. The main focus of COP28 is global stock take, loss and damage fund, and climate finance. And what main things we are coming out by next week will be looking at how we can have phase out of fossil fuels in orderly and equitable manner, in a just manner, tripling renewable energy at the baseline of 2022 to 2030, and of course doubling energy efficiency, enabling policy environment to scale up climate finance, and most importantly, halt and reversal of deforestation, land degradation, and biodiversity loss. So I'm very excited to be part of celebration of this International Climate Day, which is spearheaded by my colleagues, Fabrice, Isabel, and other partners in Paris. And I'm very happy to join for here and give my best wishes to this very important event recognizing champions, partners, and of course, all colleagues around the world to join hands in our endeavor. Thank you so much once again. Greetings from COP28 at Dubai.
Thank you very much, Pradeep. I will now introduce our first honorary ambassador for this special event, Professor Jean Jouzel. Jean Jouzel is a French paleoclimatologist. He is a member of 3 academies of science from France, Europe, and the US, and is a former IPCC vice chair at the time when IPCC was a co-winner of the Nobel Peace Prize in 2007.
Good morning. The International Climate Day will take place December 8th, and it's very important for me. It's very important because we have a common objective, or we should have a common objective to reach carbon neutrality, and if possible, around 2050, in less than 30 years. So this is a huge effort, and we should act on every moment of our life. And so I would say that this International Climate Day should be extended every day of all the year, because and also in all decisions are important with respect to climate change. To climate change action, so about mobility, about also building, about food, and so on. And so it's very important. We know well what we should do, but it's very important to have this type of event to really recall and to all of us that climate issue is very important, and we should know. It's clear that if we want to reach neutrality carbon, it's important to act between today and 2030. The coming years are very important. They largely decide of the climate which will prevail in the second part of this century, and of the capacity to adapt. So it's really a call for action, and I really share this call for this International Climate Day, and really call for action in all issues dealing with climate change, and also with other environmental problems as preservation of biodiversity. It's clear it's also very important.
Thanks very much, Professor Jean Jouzel, for having us and for your kind message, specifically for this day. And I would like now to have the great pleasure to have on stage Professor Patrick Blandin, our second honorary ambassador of the ICD. So Patrick is also associate member of the IUCN Ethics Special Group, and also board member of the Center for Environment, Ethics and Law in USA, and the honorary president also of the IUCN French branch. The floor is yours, Patrick.
Thank you very much. The Earth is fast becoming an unfit home for its noblest inhabitants, and another era of equal human crime and human improvidence would reduce it to such a condition of impoverished productiveness, of shattered surface, of climatic excess. Ladies and gentlemen, this sentence was not uttered at the opening of the present COP. It was written 160 years ago in Man and Nature, a book published in USA by George Perkins March. Today, we are facing the predicted crisis of the biosphere. Thanks to sciences, we know that because of us, the biosphere is changing faster than ever, and that man-driven changes are harming the entire living world. Why? Because of human improvidence. The truth is that we are living through a crisis of governance at all levels. Why? Because we are facing an ethical crisis, a crisis of values. Short-term selfishness and profit are not sustainable values. So we need to change the trajectory, and we have the power to do it. But for this, we need a vision that advances positive values to inspire a desirable trajectory for the Earth and all its diverse inhabitants. In other words, we need an ethical revolution. A radical questioning of the philosophical, legal, economic, and political conceptions is necessary. Because we do not possess nature, it is nature that possesses us. So, we have to look differently at all living beings, humans and others. As it was proclaimed in 1982 by the United Nations, every form of life is unique, warranting respect regardless of its worth to man. Yes, each and every living being contributes to the web of life. Each and every living being is part of the memory of life history, and each and every living being is a potential contributor to the future of life. Therefore, we have to inhabit the Earth differently. The continuity of life on our planet implies a governance at all scales that seeks solidarity and conviviality between all forms of life. The ethical revolution is a revolution for equity, dignity, better being, and peace for all life. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your very strong messages. We appreciate. And now I will give the floor to our third honorary ambassador for this special ICD event, the General Tom Middendorf from the Netherlands. He is the chairman of the International Military Council for Climate Change and Security and the former Chief of Defense of the Netherlands. And he has just published a book entitled The Climate General, Stepping Up the Fight. In this book, it's really useful for understanding all the challenges posed by climate change and, more importantly, the solutions and strategies that can lead us to a better tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this International Climate Day. My name is Tom Middendorp. I'm a former Chief of Defense of the Netherlands, and I currently lead a global organization of security leaders who are very concerned about the impacts of our changing climate. To me, this is not a one-day event. To me, this is about every day. Every day we should work on finding solutions for the biggest challenge we are facing, which is climate change. And as a climate general, I have experienced how droughts and floodings drive complete populations into despair, how desperate people make desperate choices when confronted with water and food scarcity and with the need to feed and sustain their families, and how climate change also acts as a risk multiplier and is a matter of national security. In more than 20 conflict areas, I've seen how this leads to instability and to conflicts, but also to migration flows and how it creates breeding grounds for extremism and organized crime. And I've learned the importance of not just reacting to these symptoms when it's too late, but to get ahead of the game, to build future stability, to find new answers to the climate crisis we are facing. We need your ideas, your initiatives to climate-proof our future and to secure that for our children and the next generations to come. And that's what this day is all about. So I wish you good luck.
Thanks as well, Patrick Blandin, for your kind message. Stay with us, stay with us. Your kind and powerful message, ringing as well in echo with what we have heard just a few seconds. And thanks also, Tom, for your powerful and very straight to the point consciousness to wake up according to what we need to do today, according to this big challenge of this century. I would like now to welcome one of my co-partners and of the event. And before just introducing this session is the voice of climate science. We are 8 years after the Paris Agreement, as you know, and we have 2 institutions representative because we want to root this editorial line since day one in science first. And I'm very grateful as well to introduce the BRGM and the CNRS in this session. And I've got the great pleasure today to have Christophe Poinceau, the Director General and the Scientific Director as well of the BRGM. The BRGM is the French Geological Survey. And I'll let now Christophe coming to just having the strategy of the BRGM of today and for the next decades, because it's all about planification. So thanks, Patrick, and just coming after, and I'll let the floor now to Christophe. Christophe Poinçon. Hi, Christophe.
Hi.
This is 1 week now from the COP28, and we are, as you know, in a transformative economic era, starting from the energy sector, a new type of energy mix. Now, I would like just to have a few words before about how do you feel about this COP?
So first, let me thank you for organizing this event and to giving us the opportunity to be on stage with you. It's a real pleasure, and we are quite convinced of the importance of the commitment of every player towards the mitigation of the global climate change. So for sure, as many over, we are quite looking forward what's going to come out from the current COP, and for sure there is a real and strong need for more involvement, more commitments towards a reduction of the greenhouse gas emissions. And at the same time, and I think it's a very important message, for sure we have to face and to fight the global climate change, but we have also to promote, develop and deploy some trajectory which are accessible and which are compatible with the sustainable development and also with justice, which is quite important all around the world.
I've noticed just 2 qualifications that you use is about the good magnitude of the adaptation and the possibility. It's about not only awareness, it's also about the capability of all type of stakeholder to jump into the change. And some stakeholders could be have I will say limits to make this transformation. So how do you think that an agency, a research agency, could also play a role to help governments and starting from the French government here to support and to enable this transformation according to all type of stakeholders? Because we know that in France we have quite 2 years of painful with the Gilets jaunes effect when we want to transform the society to have a concrete trajectory. But we know that we need to, I would say, to have an overview before transformative strategy and kick off, I would say.
So maybe 2 points regarding your question. So the first one is it's very important to realize that transformation of our society is for sure very important, but will only be achieved if it's done with the people and not against the people. So it means that the solutions we are promoting, the trajectory, the transformation has to be organized, has to be deployed so that it helps the people to live better, to be with a better justice and not just to avoid any use or any act they would like to do. So that's the first point. Second, regarding the role of the research agency, as you mentioned, or research institution, it's very important to have science on board and to have science at the core of the decisions to be taken. And as it has been very clearly claimed by our French president yesterday with the implementation of a new High Council for Research, we need to, as experts, to give the information to society to know what is the main processes which are occurring, which are transforming the world, how we can act or develop some solutions in order to prevent this transformation or to adapt, because we have the two directions to deal at the same time. How we can prevent the transformation, how we can prevent the global climate change or reduce it as much as possible, and at the same time how we can adapt to this climate change. And that's it's very important to really handle the two directions at the same time. And it's not always easy understandable because, just to give an illustration, at the same time we try to do as much as we can or to deploy as much as we can actions in order to reduce the global climate change down to 2 degrees Celsius or 1.5. And at the same time we are working in order to know how we can adapt to 3 or 4 degrees Celsius. So it's not antithetic. I mean, we have to do both. And it's one of our role as BRGM, the French Geological Survey, because many of the impact of the global climate change will be through natural risk, natural hazards, like, for instance, sea level rise. And as BRGM, we can provide information, we can provide solutions, we can support the government by providing technical and scientific advices.
So the relationship with the time planning is very important as well. So we know that we need a massive amount of investment toward, I will say, a massive climate finance transformation. How can we, I will say, put science and research at the cutting edge to help the decision makers of today to avoid, I will say, other type of side effect when they are building quite in real time the strategy. In last weeks, there is an official energy and climate plan published for France, for example, and how cutting-edge science and research could be not only an enabler, but I will say quite a first advisor.
I think research and science has to be, as I mentioned before, at the core of any decision to be taken. It's very important to ensure that this action plan or the decisions or the transformation we're going to decide are the right ones. And it's very complex, even for scientists. So it means it's not always the actions that may seems to be the most important, the most relevant one, which is in fact the most transforming ones. And due to the very short time we have, because the climate change is very fast, we need really to be able to assess in between the different solutions which are usable. The one is the most effective and it needs to be deployed very fast. And it has to be based on the scientific approach, integrating the cutting-edge research, and it's one of the roles of the research institutions to provide this information to the government so that the society can decide at the end what is the solution the society wants to deploy.
And the last but not least, if we, I will say, consider that climate is a common good, nature is a common good asset, I will say, what type of new role or key role that public research institution could play? Is it a new role to make much more awareness toward all, I will say, all the range of the society, from the decision makers, public and private, and the other side, I will say, the citizen and consumer? How to replace or new place, I don't know, of the advanced and research institutions specifically related to common goods?
I think there is different roles for the research institutions depending on the topic on which each of it is working. So for some of them is to develop some basic research, basic knowledge in order to develop some innovative technologies to meet the needs that we will have in order to decarbonize our society. But some other institutions like BRGM, like the geological surveys, has a different role. I guess we are more focused on the environment, on the earth, and we have to provide the information on how it works, what are the key processes, what are the key transformations we should promote or avoid, depending on the one we are discussing about. And we have to assess what are the potential impact of each of the different options, which is open to the government, to the society, so that the decisions which are taken are based, once again, on science. It's very important to have some good evaluation before any decisions about the impact, and to be sure that, in fact, we are moving forward in the right direction. And it's really not only a sensitive issue. I mean, it really needs to be approached by a very complex assessment, and it can't be done very easily by the citizen, unfortunately, because it means that the decision at the end may be difficult to understand by the citizens, which is also a critical issue to deal with.
And we are very pleased to have you, Christophe, because as you know, since day one, we want to connect first with public research agency, public research center. And it's very important for us to relate it all, I will say, editorial line, all decision first by this angle. And after, all stakeholders will follow. But let's take not opinion, but science first, I will say. So thanks for supporting us and having your kind message and powerful position now to move forward with the Belgium.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
It was a pleasure.
You're welcome. Now let's have a small, I will say, introduction before going on another type of message. Just to notice that we were expected to have the Minister of the Energy Transformation with Agnès Pannier-Runacher, and unfortunately she has been connected and linked by the negotiation to the COP28, and she needs to go directly to the negotiation with a key role position. So it's just a matter of time, and we wish her good luck, a strong message there to make line moves, and welcome for the next result for the COP28. And I let the floor for another type of message. Hope that you connect, if you connect at this moment, not only on the music, but also on the thematic. It's the International Climate Day, the 8th December 2023. And now we are going to speak with, I will say, a bridge panel. And with my co-chair, Pradeep Bonga, based currently in the COP28 at Dubai. And we are going to have a look on the voices, not only the voices, because there is a lot of pathways to go to net zero. And it will be, I will say, like a mini or a nano COP, bridging Paris and Dubai. I don't know if, as well, Tad Kimura, if you are there, Tad, in Duplex. We are waiting some other colleague, people to join us. Or Caroline, based in Mombasa in Kenya. Are you there, Caroline? Not yet?
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect, perfect. So connecting as well different continent, cross-border, and different point of view, different backgrounds. To introduce this, I would say, specific session, we have quite 45 minutes to get involved in this discussion. But first, I would like to introduce the panelists here based in Paris, and then join you in Duplex. So I've got the great pleasure, and I will start by ladies first, as we said. Fanny Malvezin, you are Deputy Mayor of Fontainebleau, and you are in charge of the ecological transition of the city and partnership. So I will say it's a local application of what we need to plan and to deploy from the national perspective with Agnès Pannier-Runacher to the local. Global to local, that's what we are going to talk. Just introduce you before, and I will say all around before going deeper in the discussion. So I'll let you the floor, Fanny.
Hello, everybody. I'm Fanny Malvezin. Thank you for having me today to speak about local action as a representative of the city of Fontainebleau, who is the heart of the birth of the International Union of Conservation of Nature 75 years ago.
Thanks, Fanny. And I will say to introduce Tad. Are you there, Tad? Not yet? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, perfect, perfect.
Hello, everybody.
I know that you weren't very far. So
yeah, actually, I'm in Dubai right now.
Great, Tad. Great, Tad. So just join us. Keep there, and I'm going to make all the round with my panelists first here in Paris, as we already discussed, like a bridge between Paris and Dubai. That's what we are going to make. And making also the bridge by, I will say, the content and the background perspective to our net zero pathways.
Okay.
So I'm continue the roadshow, my nano roadshow, I will say. I will start with Laurent. Laurent, based in Paris, and I just let you the floor to introduce you before.
Thank you to invite us to explain or to show what kind of application we can start and we can launch to help the planet. I'm Laurent Bréboin, CEO and co-founder of Vidmiser, and we launched the Green Encoder because we have the intuition that video encoding is a part of the path we have to follow.
And I need to follow with Laurent, because Laurent is with his company, Green Encoder, our strategic partner to make this event a low-carbon event, an hybrid and low-carbon one, because we are going to decarbonize all the replay after. We are going to understand more in a few minutes. And I let the floor now to my colleague in Climate Tech, because we are quite all colleagues in Climate Tech. There is many colleagues in Climate Tech there. So, and I like to also discuss about startups investment, but there is also territory solutions. So innovation is everywhere. I let the floor to Jean-Charles Ferrand, who is the CEO and co-founder of Geolinks, but I let you follow. It's better.
Thank you, Fabrice. Good morning, good afternoon to everybody here. Yes, my name is Jean-Charles Ferrand. I'm the president of a startup, so a young company and a deep tech startup. It means that we valorize public research for industrial application, and in particular here it's research coming from a lab in Grenoble, ESTR laboratory in Grenoble, and we valorize this technology to tackle the global warming issue we have.
So you will see that there is different also type and perspective of to be net zero in different type of sectors, just following in that way and changing the sector's decarbonization. With another colleague in climate tech. So I'll let you the floor, Olivier Sudan, CEO of AVOB.
Thank you, Fabrice, and good morning, good afternoon, everybody. It's an important day today, and this event is a great one to remind us of what we have to do. So my name is Olivier Sudan. I'm the CEO of a green tech company, AVOB, and we are specialized in helping our customers better manage and reduce the energy consumptions in buildings, and we bring them an energy management platform combined with IoT and AI algorithm.
So you know that the tech is not far, Tad. There is also AI embedded in buildings, and there is a great example in many types of solutions. And the nature is also not only around us, but also, I will say, great applications, because natural carbon sinks are very important, and cities and regions have to also embed this type of solutions. And there is a lot of innovation also to make it. So yes, according to your online, Tad, I let you follow, I would say, the tech angle, and to let you the floor from Dubai and make the bridge.
Okay, thanks. Hello, everybody. My name is Tad Kimura. I'm a CEO of Adride Inc. We are doing a climate tech accelerator based in Tokyo. And recently, we've launched the accelerator program called the SUITS Tokyo, together with Tokyo Metropolitan Government. And the program is both inbound, outbound program. And I'm visiting COP28. And actually, this is my first day of the COP28. Actually, my path is a blue zone. And today I'm explored blue zone and also green zone. And there are many types of technology and also startups from France and everywhere in the world. So yeah, so this is a quite good showcase to see the technology as well as policy and activity all over the world.
Thanks, Tad. And just to also make this complementary, because you're also the CEO and founder of a great accelerator based in Tokyo. There is not only, I will say, the tech side. I do think that there is a lot of innovative solutions, and that I will say, in impact startups or impact companies and NGOs. That's why, Caroline, I would like to introduce you now, because we are just having a great range and scope of technology startups. Caroline, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
And I know, so hi, Caroline. Before starting discussion, I prefer to introduce you and to let you the floor and making this bridge connection in this different type of net zero pathways. So Caroline she's, I will say, the country manager and a partner from different events that we have already done, from the Carbon Pricing Conference and the ClimateTechAwards. And Caroline is the country manager of a great NGOs, which is Green Campaign, World Green Campaign. And she's not only, I will say, having a social impact approach, she also bridge and hybriding the technologies toward communities. But I'll let you the floor. You are the best to showcase what you are doing.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for having me. It's glad. I think it's a good time to be able to talk about. For me, my biggest concern is how we can leverage technology, especially for rural communities, because I believe that technology has to work and it has to easily adapt to different contexts. So it's very nice to be able to introduce technology, especially related to adaptation, or how they can be able to mitigate climate change. And then what's most important is also to think of anchoring it on various realities of the communities. And so how can we build this technology in a way that communities are part of the process, so that you don't come up with a technology that will also alienate them, that will make them feel like they can be part of the solution, or something that they can't sustain because it's too expensive. So I'm hoping as we come up with solutions, we're able to also talk about that and always, have the community in mind.
Thanks, Caroline. And we are going to go deeper in different angle and to make the complementary point of views. Pradeep, are you there? Perfect, perfect. So I'll let you also introduce few words, because you are also the best of us to speak about land use approach and also your new position within the World Biogas Association. So the floor is yours, Pradeep.
Thank you so much, Fabrice. Of course, Isabel had already introduced me. Colleagues, I am also at COP28. This is my 8th day. I came here on 1st of December. I'm very happy to be part of this whole global meeting where after a long time, I can see there's a lot of hope, a lot of partners are here, companies are here, policymakers are here, and over 100,000 people have registered. So that shows the excitement, interest. But the challenge remains, Fabrice, that how do we deliver? Colleagues, just briefly about myself, I have from India. I have done first 15 years, I was Indian civil servant working on the policy level at the senior level in Delhi. And then I moved to United Nations, starting with UNDP. Then at UNIDO, I was Director of Energy Climate Change in Vienna for 16 years before I became Deputy Executive Secretary of UNCCD, UN Convention to Combat Desertification. And this is where I'm very happy to link nature, climate, and land to provide solutions for the world that needs. So, Fabrice, thank you so much once again. At present, I'm working as Senior Advisor with World Biogas Association and Senior Advisor with International Institute for Applied Studies at Vienna. Thank you, Fabrice. Over to you.
So thanks, Pradeep. And you will see as well within this audience live stream that we also connect different, not only angle, backgrounds, and profile of stakeholders. We connect also different geo-economic culture from Europe, Africa, Asia. And I'm going to start with these first questions. Different angles, different, I will say, culture, different latitude, different type of climate issues. I'm going to start with the economic players, because we are 8 years after the Paris Agreement. I will say it's one of the major, or the major statement of all countries on the world. Now, this is the role of the private sector everywhere in the world. So I will start with this angle first. How the economic players could play now their role, not a role, their role to accelerate, I will say, what we used to call net zero. And probably we're going to start with any type of sectors. I will say like at school. Who would like to answer first? And I'm not the professor today.
I can start with a small brief. So on our side, we are really specialized in helping our customers managing the energy within the buildings. And buildings account for 30 to 40% of energy consumption and CO2 emission, roughly, worldwide. It depends on the countries, but it's roughly this way. And the important thing there is to start somewhere, because many people think it's expensive, it's complicated, and so forth, so they never start. So, and we see that not only in our sector, but in many sectors. So what I like, and we are discussing that earlier, is the action of the small steps. You know, it's step by step. I mean, if you want to climb a mountain, you just don't go to the top at the first day. You do really step by step, and then you reach your goal. So the aim here is to start. And there are solutions. Solutions exist, and they are reliable. The technology is here, and we can do substantial savings. You know, in France, just as such, I mean, if we were to reduce just by 15% of the energy consumption of our buildings, it's 3 to 4 billion euros that we could save each year. And 50% is not so much, right? So we can do that. It brings substantial value to then start bigger projects, bigger activities to renovate your buildings or to build completely new buildings if you wish. So the message here is don't wait, don't lose time, because and we see that every day, every month, every year that we wait, it's another year that is lost for the climate and another year of high CO2 emissions.
And I like this type of point of view because we used to say that if we just, I will say, don't look up, or we can say it's too difficult, probably we don't act, we don't create an event, we don't buy some good products, so we don't know that there is a real countdown, in effect. So your powerful message is very important to say, not only according to the decision makers, but including as well to, I will say, the consumer citizen. It's another great part of the stakeholders, because I would say it's about buying, choosing what we want to buy. And that's the great problem as well, because when we want to have the green services, the green product, or the climate technologies that we expect all, the price is not, I will say, in the same, I will say, competitive sometimes and many times to make this move. And so we delay. We always delay for a reason, and the price, in many cases, is one of the key points to delay.
Yeah, I would like to challenge that a little bit, because most of the time that's what people think, that if you choose a product or some fruits or vegetables, whatever, which are greener, then it's more expensive. In many cases, it's because they have a really short sighting. Okay, if you look at the overall picture, it's at least at the same level, and sometimes it's less expensive. And in our case, I mean, the return on investment on our solution is less than 18 months. For buildings, it's very, very short. So you can start savings quite rapidly and then invest what you have saved in other actions.
So there is a great also window to open according to better assess and to better price the value of any type of green product and services. And we can, yes, follow in that way for another session, but it's a real subject, a real topic itself, yeah. To price the value on the right things. I'm going to follow with you, Jean-Charles, because we know that the energy mix, so buildings is very important to decarbonize, but starting from the energy mix, because we know that the French plan, but not only the French plan, all plans now related to climate transformation and to I will say, all the investments that are needed to do are related, I will say, the 80% or 40%, but in many sectors are directly related to the price of the energy and the type of the energy. And your I will say, approach and solution is, I think, directly connected to not only decarbonize the energy sector, but as well the consumer of the energy sector, the industrial players themselves. So I'll let you the floor to explain much more.
Yeah, thank you, Fabrice. That's true. As I said, I'm the president of Geolinks, and Geolinks is a startup in geoscience. And so when I started geoscience, I was 10 years old, and I was passionate by earth and minerals and everything like that. And I would say this journey that bring me here, it's an individual journey. And I had some typical, I encountered people in the last years, like Isabel, more than 10 years ago now. And I realized that there was something to do, okay, as a geoscientist, because for all the people are here with us, I mean, geoscience it's very important because of the resources we have underground and what we are using today. But something that I realized very recently, and it was in 2019 when we decided with two colleagues of mine to create Geolinks, it's because we realized that 54% of the energy CO2 related emissions, if you look at the numbers from the International Energy Agency, are depending on some technologies that, okay, nobody knows about it. And the one I'm talking here is simply the fact to monitor what's going on in the underground, the fluid movements in the underground. And I realized that this technology, which is missing, cost-effective technology, influence 54% of the energy CO2 related. So just coming back to your point, I was working in a big company, okay, specialized in geoscience, CGG, and I was not acting, and I didn't get consciousness of the problem I could solve. And then we realized that and in 2019, and we decided to launch that. So now coming back to how the solution can tackle things in global warming today. Okay, and the answer to actually monitoring. So we are listening the underground, okay, at geolinks to mitigate the risk of the industries in the energy transition. And for example, if you want to decarbonize the industry, the cement, steel industry, you have no choice to use a technology which is called CCS, and for that you need the monitoring. If you want to deploy at large scale, for example, the renewables, you need raw materials and you need a sustainable way to treat the waste of the raw materials, and for that you need geophysical monitoring. So if you want to switch from the fossil fuels to the decarbonized energy like hydrogen or geothermal, but you need again geophysical monitoring. So we realized in 2019 that there was something missing, nobody was asking really for, and which was key for the. So I would say it was an individual path for me and for my friends of mine and co-founders, and that now we are an economic actor delivering those solutions to the industries. Okay, and well, so we are not addressing directly the need of the, I would say, the consumers, but we are addressing the needs of the industrials.
So it's a good connection to, I'm going to be back to Tad. Are you there, Tad?
Yes.
So if you have understand and the pathway, not only to be net zero, but the pathway of Jean-Charles, that climate change is also a kickstart to innovate and to change your life trajectory from having a great place job or career and switching to uncomfortability, not uncomfortability toward climate change, but to fight against climate change, to be an entrepreneur. So this is what I want to share with you, because you support entrepreneur, you are an accelerator, and what does it inspire you?
Yeah, so as a conclusion, I think collaboration is the key to success or key to achieve net zero. So in case of Japan, Ministry of Environment has an important role to collaborations. They picked 100 areas as a best practice, and they give the money, millions of dollars, as a grant of the project between the local government and companies. And looking at the Asia, I think that Japan and Singapore and some country has a technology, but on the other hand, there are some field for the agriculture space or the farming space in another countries. So there can be a collaboration of some project, or sometimes it's as a project. It's quite important collaboration between the company and the government, or sometimes cross-border project. That's quite important to achieve the net zero, I think.
So thanks for this sharing this point of view, Tad, because that with that we can see that climate change is already acting like the first kick-off accelerator for every one of us, and enabler to, I will say, create a new type of career, to create new type of solutions regarding to your understanding of your sectors, your previous sectors, or just to open the door to a new one. But you have mentioned about agriculture, and I would like to connect with Caroline, based in Kenya. What does it is inspiring you to be net zero? How local community are already doing relating to adaptation, or not only adaptation but mitigation, and how the technology is already playing as an enabler to not only meet these goals but also to, I will say, create a full stack and very strength community, social and economics, because it's very important as well. Solving the climate equation and fill up the fridge.
Okay, thank you. So most of my communities are from arid and semi-arid lands, which means that they depend heavily on rain-fed agriculture, which means that with climate change, they are not getting enough rain. So it's erratic rainfall patterns, high temperatures, so they are not food secure. And I think they always say necessity is the mother of invention. And so it helps us to figure out ways that we can be able to leverage on technology to be able to surmount most of these challenges. And most of the communities are thinking about like how can we be able to store indigenous seeds more, or how can we ensure that seeds that are harvested are able to adapt better to changing climates. Or you have some of the communities that are agro-pastoralists. And so when they harvest, they have to think not just about the food needs of the community themselves, but also of the animals. And so how can they leverage on technology to ensure that there's value addition, so that once harvesting is done, it can be able to stay longer. And so there's a lot of talk of harnessing, for instance, solar energy, so that you can be able to store seeds more, do the value addition, preserve food more. But apart from that, I think there was a lot of discussion, starting from COP27 till COP28, about the setting up of the loss and damage fund. And for most communities that are vulnerable to climate change, what's most important to them is accessing resources. I'm thinking that maybe sometimes it's a loss of trust in the world, but also leveraging on technology to bring about the aspect of trust. Because I think people came up with the idea of carbon offsets to figure out a way to be able to, support the vulnerable communities. But the whole idea of carbon offset right now is having a lot of mistrust. And so like for my community, we're thinking of automating the incentives, leveraging on technology so that you can be able to say you trust the process. For instance, we are leveraging on remote sensing and also blockchain technology, such that once you collect data like soil testing, and once you're able to take photos of changes of the environment over time, if you say you've planted 100,000 trees, how can somebody who is giving to the loss and damage fund trust that that took place? You can take photos, leverage on blockchain technology, use remote sensing, and then do smart contracts, such that when somebody sees that, they know that I can trust that process. Because in COP28, they set up the fund, and they only managed to raise like 700 million out of the expected 400 billion. So 0.2% was raised, and yet there's this huge deficit. And maybe, I'm not sure, maybe part of it is trust. And so for us to introduce a solution that brings about trust, that people are knowing that if I release funds, they go to that particular community. You can be able to geo-target. If you use blockchain technology, you can be able to follow the funds until where they reach the community. You can be able to say the funds were used to be able to store seeds that are used for value addition, and you can be able to set up that whole entire process, and people can be able to monitor it. I think that's really important. And for us, that Africa has the largest population of youth, which means that they want to experiment more. Currently, I'm having youth that are thinking of also incorporating artificial intelligence into it, so that they can be able to read. And so you can be able, I think there's a lot of apps even how to be able to know, it's called what, when you have, the crops have diseases, how can you be able to use apps and ensure that the communities can just take a photo, and then using AI, they can be told rapidly what is happening to the soil or to the plants. So I think that's really important. And so I look forward to the many ways that it will adapt to our context and to see how it can be supported and also how we can be able to raise funds also for indigenous communities to support placed source solutions, especially when it comes to tech.
Yes, thanks, Caroline, for explaining what's going on in Kenya and specifically toward the project you are managing. I've noticed two, I would say, characteristic that you mentioned. The first is the trust, because we know that we need to qualify each value chain within the climate finance process, and the agility of the young to create innovative solutions to make this trust happen quicker. I would like to go back now to stay with, I would say, the territory, I would say, approach players, local players from Mombasa, to connect now with a local deputy mayor here near Paris with the Fontainebleau representation. And I let the floor to Fanny. You have heard I would say, the startups mindset and the startups mindset from social impact enterprises or organization. What does it inspire you with the angle and the specificity of Fontainebleau, an international city, I will say also?
Of course, as a local actor and decision maker that need to embark and to take on board all our citizens to address the issues of climate change. I'm very inspired by the technical solution, and what we have in Fontainebleau is probably the less technical approach of the panel to address these issues. What we have is a contributor, a positive contributor. It's the forest. It's nature, Mother Nature. It's a gift. So it's a chance. We live in Fontainebleau that is surrounded by this beautiful green lung of Paris region. And our goal is to protect it like the artists at the end of the 19th century did. They took action for protecting this forest. And so today, we really need to continue this fight and to preserve the capital that we have that contributes to reduce emission gas. So today, of course, we need to embark people, to educate our children, because those will be the one who will heritage of this legacy. And I'm here to hear some technical solutions that we could address as a decision maker, because we need technical solutions to reduce our energy consumption. We have buildings, public buildings, that are not in a good shape, of course, and I think it's probably the biggest investment we have to do to reduce energy and also to reduce our economy, because it costs. I mean, to warm our buildings, to warm our swimming pools and so on. So, of course, we have on the side the goal of protecting our capital, our natural capital, and on the other side, we have to reduce our carbon print and to do whatever we can to embark people in this fight.
Thanks for sharing your angle and point of view. And we already understand that it's from global to local, it's already a public partnership to make it happen. We need platforms to make it happen. We need accelerator to make it happen. And I'm going to be back to you both, Tad and Pradeep. Pradeep, my co-chair, are you there?
Yes.
Great, yes. Pradeep. So we are connecting to so the bridge from Mombasa to Fontainebleau, and know that Pradeep, you have the overview, because by UNCCD you have managed at United Nations, the agency body, and land use, the activities, the deployment of human activities everywhere, that the Professor Jean Jouzel, our co-ambassador of the day, said that it's human activity who are increasing the instability of climate, making it changing. Land use from much more than 2 centuries, 3 centuries, and nature related to land use are very, very in a difficult position. Our also co-ambassadors, Patrick Blandin, remind us that we depend on nature, and Fontainebleau related to it historically. We need artists to advocate. Who are the artists to advocate about the better use of the land for you? I would like to ask you this question. Or
Fabrice, thank you very much for linking land with climate and global issues. Colleagues, friends, as we speak, 1/4 of the world's land is degraded land. Degradation has happened for many reasons: population increase, overgrazing, deforestation, over-intensive agriculture, and other natural phenomena. But one thing is very clear: when land gets degraded, it has a lot of consequences. Drought, it has consequences of course, migration. It has consequences economic side, social side, environmental side. But also, it is also very clear now that climate change is also acting as the accelerator for land use changes around the world, especially land degradation. And that, whether it is because of change in rains patterns, or whether it is river course changing or over flooding, everything combined together. The only process which we can look at is sustainable land management approaches. And that also require what we call in UNCCD land degradation neutrality. Whatever we do, any project we do in the world, for any infrastructure project, we must ensure that productive land, agricultural land, does not get diverted to that. But on the other hand, we must restore land quality. We must restore health of the land. And remember, soil organic carbon is almost 25% of total carbon sink in the world. And together with forestry and others, it becomes almost 35%. So here we are talking about soil health, we are talking about land health, and that's we call what planetary health. But here, let me also give a global view of on climate finance, which when we link up with land and climate. And here in COP28, I have been attending many sessions and of course also contributing as a panelist. Two things emerged very clearly here, and I think I must thank Caroline for mentioning our loss and damage for $700 million only committed so far, while it was almost $400 billion are required. Very true. Good news is it was done on first day. This is almost my 20th COP. Never seen on first day of any COP something of that decision taking place. But yes, we have to do more. That is for sure. This is simply a beginning, and $700 million is a drop in the ocean. Now, coming back to climate finance, let me highlight two issues linking to land and, of course, overall climate finance. First, mainstream climate into development agenda. Very important. Latest report shows that according to OECD, only 28% of ODA, overseas development assistance to developing countries from various sources, goes to address climate change in 2020-21. It means whatever we do, we must integrate climate mitigation, climate resilience, and climate adaptation in those projects, programs, whether it is internationally funded or nationally funded. Second, we must utilize systemic approach, and that I am also speaking on the land areas, because there we feel that I personally believe that net zero, we always talk about net zero, but we must also talk about nature positive world together. It means when we want to address climate change, we must ensure that there is no biodiversity loss, there is no land degradation, and there is no loss of nature or ecosystems approaches, because climate and nature, climate and land, they are two sides of the same coin, and we must address them. And there, the best answer is how we can have synergies between climate goals and sustainable development goals. There are 17 in nature. Both must go hand in hand. And of course, very important here is how we can scale up climate financing through blended finance, de-risking investments in decarbonization projects, and most importantly, how we can ensure that benefit of this whole climate finance goes down to the local level to the indigenous communities, to the most vulnerable societies in the world. Because while industry and other policies will provide, but we must link policies with science and science with investments. And that should really help in having what we call land restoration, eco restoration. So, healthy land, healthy soil, healthy planet. Let me rest my case here.
Thanks a lot, Pradeep, for your powerful message. And I would like to, an holistic and systemic, I will say, challenge that we need to face. I would like to also have a quick feedback by you, Ted. Climate change is acting as an accelerator. How can accelerators can reverse this change?
Thanks. So, Mr. Monga mentioned there is no one solution for everywhere. It really depends on the location, geographic, history, industry, and everything. So, as I mentioned, the combination of cross-company, cross-country, cross-industry is quite important. And now we are building a matching platform of the solutions. It's because there are many types of thousands of combinations which would work for each areas or each verticals. So I think the combination and the collaboration is quite important in any sense.
Thanks, Ted, for sharing this. I will say not awareness, but kind and straight to the point invitation to start working, not only geoblock within geoblock, but crossing geoblocks working, and by cooperative process, and as well to deliver the value on the ground, economic value, social value, societal values, and obviously climate values, positive climate values, as Pradeep mentioned. I would like to have the, I would say, the final word with Caroline, because I do think that the innovation minds also are everywhere, and we need everyone on the board to within the design thinking process. How do you feel, Caroline, that the young generation, native, connected, and very agile, very with a straight to the point willingness to, I will say, to grow, to have a good life or sometimes a better life. This energy, this positive energy is very powerful to make the change happen. How do you think that the young generation, and with from your, I will say, Kenya perspective, could play a role within the concert of nations, the concert of cooperations, as Tad mentioned and invite us?
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. I think when they were coining the Sustainable Development Goals, they considered youth, current and future generation, because they're experiencing climate change as it is now, but they have to be part of the solution. And the way I see it, right now we have a generation that is very tech-oriented. They spend most of their time in their phones. They are also the most connected population or generation there is. They have so much at their table, so it's very easy for them to also share information, to share innovation. I think it's upon us to always deploy information that gives them that sense of awareness. And you're also seeing much of the younger generation also doing more when it comes to climate action. They are pushing more for better solutions. And so I'm thinking all they need is an opportunity. And also, when I talk about resources, it's mostly about knowledge. So how can we, maybe the older generation or people that have the resources, how can we ensure that they have access to the information? They have access to spaces whereby they can be able to come up with innovation, because they interact with different generations, and then they also think different. They want quick solutions, which I think could also work, because they'll tend to be more efficient. So like I gave an example for me, we were just thinking about how do we get resources, how do we ensure trust? And it's the youth that came up with the solution of blockchain technology. And each time all you needed was to call them for what they call hackathons. And you have all these young minds together for just a few hours. You give them a challenge and they think about it based on their context. They're the ones who thought about how could we use also AI tools to be part of the solution. I think as technology is evolving, there'll be more and more solutions to come. So how can we I think what's important is to just bring it to their context. If they're spending time on the phone or on TikTok, how can we meet them where they are? So that there's more information sharing, there's more climate action around it. Most important, I think for me, our biggest concern is also how to get the youth into the food production space, because most of the youth are really not into farming. And which means that if we can come up with innovative ways to make farming more efficient, it's a good space to bring them in. Because one or the other, the population as it is in the world and the way it's rapidly growing, it will need to eat. And we have to find a way to make sure that agriculture is able to evolve along with the times with the youth as it can. And most important, they also have to feel that they trust us. And I think technology can bring that also. They want to feel that they can also contribute in their own ways. Most youth maybe are not employed. So if you tell them to contribute funds, they can't do that. But they have knowledge and they have the mind to be able to contribute solutions, especially in the tech space.
Thanks a lot, Caroline, for sharing this. And I noticed that it's not only about, I will say, letting the floor to the young, but also better interacting within generations, from the elders to the young and the young to the elders, to transmit the knowledge, to transmit the capability, the capacity to move forward, not in any type of direction, but by the experience of the good direction to avoid, I will say, and to optimize the time, because time is running for many reasons, as we know. I would like to also making this to close this the voices and the pathway to go to net zero from an Asia perspective, an Africa perspective, a European perspective, from a startup mindset, from NGOs, from institutions, local to global with you, Pradeep, international. This is the nano COP of the day. And I hope that not only you within the live stream, but also you from Duplex as an pure hybrid event and on stage have understand each other, because it's about understanding your neighbors and the start. This is the first start and the first step of the cooperation. So thanks a lot, all of you. And just probably notice that we need to better price the value. The value could be everywhere with anyone. And to better price the value is also probably much more aligning our current financial datasheet decisions for decision makers, public and private. Within startups, we all have to give results to someone, but these results should be much more, I will say, related to the dashboard of the nature. So I let the floor to now another type of message. Thanks a lot, all. See you next.
Thank you.
So you're there, Pradeep. Thanks a lot, and hope that you sharing this moment. If you just join the live stream, we have just talked about the different pathways to be net zero, not only having in mind the climate, I will say, issues, but also embedding the nature and the consciousness of the nature and protecting the environment in the pathway to be net zero. Now, I would like to have a special also moment. We need to be inspired in the life, and we need pioneers in every type of disciplines. As you are there, Pradeep, connecting with this, I will say, the other session. What is your definition of pioneers? What would be the definition of pioneers for you? Probably there is a duplex issues. So I will just probably have the floor with the one of the players of the pioneers that we have the change here in France, Philippe Croison, and Philippe have shared with us a specific message for this 8 December International Climate Day, and I would like to let him the floor.
Bonjour Isabelle et Fabrice, bonjour également au BRGM, au CNRS, et bien sûr bonjour à tous. Mes chers compatriotes planétaires, en cette journée du 8 décembre, journée internationale du climat, en pleine COP28, nous avons besoin plus que jamais de nous surpasser pour le climat et la transition environnementale pour notre planète. Vous me connaissez pour mes exploits sportifs, mes aventures humaines, la capacité à aller au-delà de ce qu'on croit être capable de faire, dépasser ses limites. En 1994, suite à un accident électrique, j'ai dû subir l'amputation de mes 4 membres. Quelques années plus tard, en 2010, avec une équipe extraordinaire, nous avons réussi la traversée de la Manche à la nage. En 2012, nous avons relié les 5 continents à la nage. Et en 2017, j'ai eu le privilège de devenir pilote sur le rallye-raid le plus dur du monde, le Dakar. Et pourtant, à chaque fois, 99% des gens disaient « Philippe, ce n'est pas possible, tu ne peux pas faire ça. Tu vas aller droit dans le mur, tu vas te faire du mal, tu vas tomber encore plus bas. » Et pourtant, avec les 1% qui restaient, mon équipe et moi, nous avons, prouvé aux 99% pessimistes que tout était possible. Mais pour cela, ça a nécessité un combat acharné, se dépasser en permanence. Mon credo est tout est possible, ensemble. L'impossible, c'est juste nous. C'est quoi nos rêves? C'est quoi nos envies? C'est quoi nos objectifs pour sauver notre planète? Je me suis toujours dit que je reviendrais sur le rallye raid, mais cette fois-ci avec un véhicule propre. Je vous annonce donc qu'en 2025, en partenariat avec une entreprise française, GCK, nous allons participer à l'Africa Eco Race avec un véhicule à hydrogène vert. Dans une démarche neutre carbone, avec un véhicule propre. Aujourd'hui, plus que jamais, tout le pays, toutes les entreprises doivent faire des efforts, individuels et collectifs, considérables et surtout rapides. Bien sûr, cela demande naturellement de se surpasser. Qui peut me dire aujourd'hui que ce n'est pas possible? Tout comme il y a 8 ans, avec les accords de Paris, et même avec Paris 2024, toute la planète est également invitée à se réunir, à se surpasser. Formulons, ensemble, un vœu collectif entre les champions, les aventuriers et toutes les catégories. La pratique du tout est possible en une seule discipline, l'accord de Paris, et faisons tous le pari fou de Champion for Climate. Vive l'humanité et vive notre belle planète.
Thanks, Philippe, for sharing this message. Very powerful message, and you are a great adventurer, and you're also challenging us to have your message in English, and we are going to share it concretely in English, and it will be available for all of you within the live stream and for the replay, the English version of the message of Philippe Croison. And we are going to invite now, thanks again for sharing the, I will say, the need to raise the bar toward climate, toward to be net zero and to protect the nature. I would like now to invite the great range of the panelists and the colleagues to come here with us and to share this moment, and specifically probably to have all of you
coming.
Yes, you can join us, the participant, not only the panelist, also Patrick, Arnaud, you can join, Clément, you can join.
Christophe.
And Christophe Poinçon can join. He's going just to be there. Clément, you can join. And everyone can join.
Jingle.
And just before having all the people there, we can just share the jingle of the International Climate Day. Perfect. So we have the great picture of this day. And Pradeep, I hope that you can connect quickly to be there. Caroline, I hope that you're still in Duplex, and Tad as well. Making this real bridge as you start from this beginning of afternoon. Tad, are you there? Caroline, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
So great. If we can have a picture where making the bridge for the production of you from Mombasa, Tad, if you are there from Dubai, and Pradeep, if you're still there in Duplex. We are going to now to switch to a very special moment. It's the CTA. What is the CTA? The CTA is the Climate Tech Awards. And the CTA 2023 is very, very special. First, because this year, there is no category, specific category toward climate technologies and startups. There is just one innovative, and we are going to inaugurate this category, an honorary awards. But we can't tell you directly for who and why there is only one category this year. Speaking about climate, we have already seen that it's not only about climate science, it's also about ecological, environmental, even including social science. And we need to be much more conscious of the interdependence of these disciplines, from the raw materials, the cutting-edge research, to the decision-making, public and private. For us, consumer citizens, when we want to buy something or to not buy another thing, there is a why. And this why has to be inspired by not only, I will say, opinion, but also connecting, rooted to really cutting-edge information, cutting-edge understanding, and science is the core engine to make it. So, not to make, I will say, to wait too long, to probably, I know that you want to see and to know who's going to be addressed this specific honorary award today, but I will just give you an indice. This award, it's not an award for an organization itself. It's not a public organization, neither a private organization. This award is not addressed to a person, even innovative, even I would say a cutting-edge champions to honor. this award is very special because it's going to be addressed to two groups, two international groups rooted deeply in science and also connecting to, I will say, all what have been also taken in decision. So just coming back to 1 year ago, this is the first time that we can align the results of the 8 years today of the Paris Agreement, one side, and the results of the COP15 on the other side. For the first time, 2023, we can connect these two agendas with two great treaties, two great agreements of the world. And we want to recognize it for the first time. That's why I'm going to, I will say, show you what we don't look up since today. This is this awards, and is going to be addressed to, I will say, we can pass, like in championship, pass the relay, and we can, it's because it's about a team working. It's a team working, and we don't know who and what. We know what there is, but we don't know who. The who is much more important. And the financial and last but not least piece is for ladies.
So I will open it, and we will very soon know who will receive the award, this ClimateTech Award 2023.
Maybe we can wait just a few minutes. I don't know if Antoine Petit is not far from, because we can jump in case of.
Okay. So,
and this is the first
I will read now. This ClimateTech Awards 2023 is given to two outstanding organizations. They are unique. They are scientific. They are international. They are powered by very strong teamwork. And they are fully complementary for the benefit of the climate and the environment at the service of humanity. So
we can make tremble, and we can have a delay, specific delay, because there is a need of a delay for this time. And there is a concrete reason to delay for the first time. And not about climate, there is no delay, but for this one is a very big one. And I'm pleased, before just knowing everyone, introduce one of our partner, strong partner, institutions partner. So we like delay, but now it's time. It's time to market, as we said, in private sector, and time to be there, same place, same time. And I would like to let the floor before knowing the name or the two names. Oh, okay. I'm just stopped there. To welcome our great partner, the CNRS, with Antoine Petit. And I let you introduce before the great role that CNRS has already played for research science, and just to have a few words before knowing all of us and all of you who's going to be nominated for the first time.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry to be late, but I had a lunch with my minister, and as you can imagine, you cannot miss it. It's really a pleasure and an honor for CNRS to be partner. As you probably know, CNRS is one of the largest public research institutions in France. We cover all fields of science and, of course, everything around climate change and biodiversity. And probably you have heard, perhaps you have heard yesterday, the announcement of our president, and the new agencies will be built in some sense in the French landscape. And we will be in charge, we CNRS, we will be in charge of of the agency which cover climate change and biodiversity. So we are precisely right to the point. So thanks to have invited us to participate, and it's an honor. So thank you very much.
It's an honor to have you as partner with the BRGM. And that's why we are going to probably to reveal and to co-reveal the two nominees.
Okay, so the 2023 ClimateTech Awards is given to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, and to the Intergovernmental Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services, IPBES. Congratulations to both institutions.
And this award, it's for all scientists who have already played a great role since decades ago to have the Paris Agreement. Again, 8 years we're going to celebrate today for this 8 December, International Climate Day first edition. And also for the IPBES, the great role of the scientific to conserve, to alert about the land degradation, as Pradeep mentioned, one of our co-chair, and all, I will say, the consciousness that we are not, I will say, have the overview of the nature because we are already inside since long, and these two pieces have to be much more connected. That's why we co-attribute these awards with all our institutions and recognize both. Same line, same way, same pathways sometimes, or different pathways, but same statement and recognition. Anyway, so IPBES, congratulations, and IPCC, congratulations as well. I'm going to give the awards to make the feedback like, I will say, a moon walker to have concretely in your hand. So congratulations, and we can congratulate everyone.
Merci beaucoup.
And we know that we need to better understand science, but better also understand the conviviality that we need in these multi-crisis times. And probably that we can not only be aware about the red flag reports series from the IPCCs and IPBES as well. These two-piece agreement, Paris Agreement and the COP15, now in one piece here, materialized. Hope that it's going to materialize, I will say, good decisions now from public and private institutions, from all of us around the world, civil society, when we are going to buy food, to buy drinks, to build houses, to go one point to another one, what type of mobilities we want, about healthcare. We know that now we depend directly about the land use, the biodiversity crisis, and the health is very, very important because as humankind, if there is no healthy nature, there is no healthy people or healthy humanity. But before going ahead, I would like to let the floor to a message of our two institutions about the awards. I will say, starting from directly the BRGM, Christophe.
So maybe just a short message. We already emphasized that
And
point earlier in the
only
discussions, but we think that it's very important to have a transition which is... Okay, so I need to restart, I guess. So I just want to re-emphasize what has been discussed already earlier during this session, the importance of launching, building, developing our transition, which is the ecological or energy transition, on scientific results. And it's very important for that perspective to have the IPCC and IPBS to develop a world-recognized set of knowledge.
with the awards, of course.
With the award, of course. So probably IPCC is better known by the public than IPBS. I think both of them are very important, and I think now it's really complementary to study climate change and biodiversity, and we cannot study one without the other. So I think it's a very good symbol to have this award for the two international panel. That's a very good sign, and it shows clearly to everybody that the two things are closely related. Thank you.
And now we are going to have also a message from one of our co-ambassadors, Tom Middendorp.
So
we have a message dedicated.
So now we are going into the closing session of this event, and we will have first some closing messages from our three ambassadors from this for this event, and the first of them is Tom Middendorp. He was introduced before, so I think we can now let him give his final message about the event.
Congratulations to the two award winners, but to me, every participant is a winner because you are all working on solving the biggest challenge we are facing, which is climate change. And my special thanks go to the two big partners, BRTN and CNRS, who really made this possible today and helped us connect to the science institutions. In 2 weeks' time, my book, Climate General, will be published in English and French. And in this book, I explain how climate change acts as a risk multiplier and how it threatens the lives of billions of people in the world. But I also look at the answers. And innovation is a very large part of the solutions, not just to reduce emissions, but also to become more resource independent and change ourselves into a more circular economy. We need your innovative power to create energy independence with zero emission, to extend the life cycles of our products, to switch to a circular economy by reusing materials and components, to achieve more climate resilience in our food production, to protect our societies against the effects of a changing climate. So let's get to it and think big, act small, and start somewhere. Thank you very much.
And now we will hear our second ambassador, Jean Jouzel. He will deliver us his closing message.
Yeah, a few words about IPCC. So I was active in IPCC from 94 to 2015. IPCC was launched in 90, and we have no it's a sixth report which was finalized in this year, and results are clear. So what are the key results of IPCC? It's about the reality of climate change. It's clear that climate change, it's a reality both in the atmosphere, but also through glaciers, through glaciers melting, but also through ocean warming, the increase of greenhouse gases, and we can attribute the 1 degree or slightly more warming to this to our activities. And so it's clear that what we experience today in terms of risk of warming, in terms of extreme, which become more and more frequent and intense, in terms of acceleration of sea level rise, is what our climate community, through the successive IPCC report, have anticipated. And so the fact that our community has been able to correctly anticipate what we experience today should invite us to give credibility to this community for what we anticipate from about, I would say, about mid-century, 2050 and beyond. And it's clear that if we continue to emit a large amount of greenhouse gases without real deceleration, rapid deceleration, without carbon neutrality, we will go towards high climate, relatively high climate warming around. So we evoke the possibility of warming up to 4 to 5 degrees C. Thanks to the Paris Agreement, we are no more on a trajectory of warming around 3 degrees C in the second part of the century is too much with respect to what we should aim if we want to keep our capacity to adapt to climate change. And so it's really, it will be, ideally, it would be important to limit climate change in the second part of the century to 1.5 degrees C with respect to pre-industrial. We are not on this way, but it's very important also to limit climate change because, for example, biodiversity is already affected by climate change. Is a third cause of loss of biodiversity. We should base our action on nature-based solution, in particular with respect to what is the forests are very important and as a carbon sink, and we should also obviously protect our forest and limit deforestation and eliminate deforestation. And so it's very important. We have this close link between climate and biodiversity at the level of solutions to climate, to the possibility to reach carbon neutrality.
Now I invite our third ambassador, Patrick Blandin, to give his final message.
Thank you. Ecosystems and climate were interacting along the past trajectory of the living world, and today's biodiversity, on one hand, is a result of this long history. On the other, is the unique potential for the adaptation and continuation of living communities along the oncoming trajectory. One biosphere, one health. Together, climate experts and ecosystem experts offer to humanity keys for the democratic design of the future, and humanity must trust science to light its way. This is the message of our special honorary award. But remember, we do not possess nature. It is nature that possesses. We have to learn from its history of continuous adaptation on a permanently changing planet. And one of the lessons we need to learn with humility is this. Very often, it is in nature that we can find the best solutions to solve the problems we face. And nature suggests a philosophy, conviviality. Conviviality is a positive, optimistic conception of the interdependence of living beings. It is a way of life to be practiced now and every day along a desirable, life-sustaining, peace-attaining trajectory. Let us together form the following wishes. Let humans recognize themselves as members of the biospheres, humbly respectful of other living beings, their evolutionary companions, and respectful of the immense diversity of communities they form from the abyss to the mountains. Everywhere, let humans seek the better being, both individual and collective, of their surrounding living world. In all their diversity, wherever they live and whatever their cultures, their knowledge, their beliefs, may humans weave relationships of conviviality among themselves and with all other living beings, with love and artistic and spiritual creativity. And may humans willingly be responsible, individually and together, for the future trajectory of the biosphere and for their place within it, from their homes and territories to our common home, the Earth.
Thanks, Patrick, for your powerful message as closing words for not only the awards but also for this International Climate Day. But before closing really the event, this very first edition today, 8 December, I would like to have the real final words by our two partners about how do you feel today, International Climate Day, every day or what else, I would say?
I think that unfortunately we cannot have an International Climate Day only once a year. I think it should be every day, and we have to recall that it requires efforts every day of all of us if we want to face this problem. So it's very important to have a symbol like this day, but don't forget that climate change and biodiversity problem will still be there tomorrow and the day after. So it's very important that all of us, I think it's clearly a world problem, that all of us all together face these problems. And I hope that such a day, such an event like the one we had today will help to mobilize again and again all citizens and also all decision makers.
Thanks, Antoine Petit, for reminding us that it's not only today the naming event, it's every day that we need to act and think climate. And I let the floor to our second partner of the event, Christophe Poinçon, the Director General and Scientific Director of the BRGM, the French Geological Survey.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm going to follow in the same track to say it's not only in Dubai that we need to think about climate change and think about the solutions to deploy, but it's everywhere worldwide, in any country, in any town, in any houses. Each of us has to think about what he can do in order to reduce our emissions, in order to protect the biodiversity, and to take our place in this overall fight. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Christophe, for sharing this final words and a powerful message. But before closing really this event, I would like to have, it's like a platform on Open Do Think, a final word of everyone there. And I would like to have your feeling and what do you think about climate change, not only about the content that we have delivered, but it could be as a representative of your organization, it could be much more personal. It's a climate day of everywhere and everyone here and in the live stream. And I would like, yes, probably if anyone would like to add something, starting probably with the startups or the first mover.
Thank you.
Just introduce yourself, just as a reminder before.
Yeah, thank you, Fabrice. So I'm Jean-Charles Ferrand. I'm a president of a startup, a deep tech startup in geoscience, GeoLinks. A very short final word, I would say, as a startup, with my startup experience and entrepreneurship experience, I think we need to invest, that's right, in innovation. We need to invest in technology, but more importantly, we need to invest in individuals, human beings, and this is where the key things are going to come.
Great. Like the awards, we pass the microphone. Laurent Bréboin.
Yeah, so Laurent Bréboin, Winmiser, so we reduce the weight of videos in order, to reduce the CO2 impact on the planet, because every single day, 8 billion videos are seen on Meta, 4 billion on YouTube. So it's huge. I like the last sentence of Jim Skea, who is the co-president of Group 3 of the IPCC. And last March, he said, so we know what to do. We know how to do it. We just have to decide to do it now. And we saw today that there are a lot of solutions already existing. Just a matter of starting, and our technology or all the solutions who have been shared to this afternoon, our solution can be used. It's just a matter of decision to do it.
Thanks a lot, Laurent. And you are also our great partner to decarbonize all the replay that we are going to share. And not only talking, but also acting and doing. And we can't stand to just having the floor, discussing on a topic. Climate is not a topic, it's an issue, and we need to talk and to do. And that's why we try to do and to showcase with our partners and technical partners of today. Probably anyone else?
Yeah, startup will continue. So Olivier, I'm the CEO of EVOB, where we help our customers save energy on the energy they consume in buildings. Thanks for everybody for your great contributions today. And my takeaway here is about collaboration. I think that's probably one of the key words to tackle the climate challenge we have in front of us. It's collaboration between generations. We have talked about that, between maybe the eldest and the youngest of our population. Collaboration between the private and the public sector. Collaboration between countries. We've seen great testimonials from Japan, from Africa, and so on. From Dubai, where everybody sits today. Collaboration between large companies and smaller ones. So if we really put all our energies together, I'm sure we can tackle this.
Sure. Let's the floor to the territories.
Thank you. As a representative of the city of Fontainebleau and its forest, I would like to say that planet doesn't belong to us. We belong to the planet, and so we need to take care of it, not with sadness, but with joy, with hope and conviviality.
Thanks a lot. And probably Arnaud, the financial Paris Europlace representative.
Yes, good afternoon. I represent the Paris Financial Center, and more especially the Sustainable Finance Institute, which has been set up beginning of this year in Paris, to mobilize the financial world. Financial centers all around the world are today mobilized to contribute and to make that the private financing can accompany the development of the energy transition. Mr. Jouzel, who was speaking before, is member of the board of our organization. We have two missions. The first one is to bring together all the market players, investors, corporates, public authorities to work together, fix the roadmap, the strategy to the carbon neutrality 2050. And second mission is to mobilize the private financing to accompany the public financing, which will not be sufficient to cover the huge financing needs that the energy transition represents all around the world. And just to add one comment on the fact that we as developed countries have also to accompany the energy transition in the emerging countries, which are the most important to organize this revolution of the energy transition and which need huge financing support.
Thanks a lot, Arnaud de Bresson, Managing Director of Paris Europlace, for also connecting, as Tad suggests us, cooperating between countries, cooperating cross-border, and the financial industry have to stand up, have probably to be one of the first, or is the first mover to change our societal trajectories, related also to all and complementary to all policies that we can and we need to put in place, and surely inspire first by science-based, not only solutions, but science-based fact and mindset. From finance to science, and from science to finance, I let the floor to Laurent James from CNRS.
So, I can add a few words, but a lot has been said already. Working in a research organization, I will not say that, of course, that research is not necessary. There is a need for a lot of research and development, especially of new technologies and also the knowledge of fundamental mechanisms. But I think that what is also extremely urgent is that we tackle the deployment issue. We have to deploy solutions and technologies. And for that, I think that research organizations have to work hand in hand with the private sector, but also, of course, with financial institutions and territories. So it's really a multi-stakeholder approach that we have to promote.
Very good, very good. And probably I just ask to other colleagues and people there, if I just said the word of climate, what words come in your mind? You want to, yes, to have a comment? Yes, sure. If I just said climate, if you have, I will say, a green, cloudy words in your mind, what could be climate? What is climate for you?
Weather. Climate is changing, and we have a proof of this from everywhere. And it is just maybe only 5 years that everybody is convinced of this changing. And it's our duty to make decisions, be the maker of the progress, scientific progress, and economically valuable solutions as different ways, as CCS, as clean burning of fossil fuels if necessary, and using the renewable energy.
It's a real mix and reshaped mindset that we need to deploy. You want to add something about climate?
Well, probably last word. Here, that probably a word missing in this on this platform is, I would say, is to just to mention a climate education, because we need to initiate youngsters, and because the new generation ahead will be confronted to this situation, you know. So I think this is probably my the word I would say, and try in the future, probably now, as the problem is everyday problem, is to initiate youngsters, because they are the new generation ahead to be confronted to this problem.
Thanks a lot, both, for sharing this powerful message. That a link, a connection among generations. It's not about only, I will say, work on one day for climate or things like this. It's about also better understanding, better reconnecting generations to have the transmission of the knowledge, the transmission of the experience, because we all know that we are going to face, in case of many type of disruption, if we don't have this short window of transmission and good transmission. Before having the real final message by music, I will say, I would like to thank our two great scientific institutions partners, really. So thanks a lot, Antoine Petit from the CNRS, the French National Research Scientific Agency, and his team, with you, Laurent James, and Nicolas Arnaud, who joined us by the mind today. Thanks a lot also from our other co-partners, Christophe Poisson, the Managing Director and Scientific Director of the BGM, the French Geological Survey, who's already doing a great job to help the new energy mixed transition from France, but also to inspire the energy transition cross-border in Europe and overseas, I will say, transitions. And so a real deep thanks for you for making this International Climate Day possible today. Thanks also for our 3 honorary ambassadors. The first for you, Jean Jouzel. I know that, and we know that you are in the COP28 in Dubai, and we are waiting for you when you're going to be back with the revelation now of the naming of the co-attribution of the awards, IPCC and EPBS. Thanks a lot also for you, Tom Middendorp, who wouldn't be able to be there, but I know that you are also with us by the mine, and to be also the great ambassador of the day. And of course, I need to share on stage a great thanks to Patrick Blandin, celebrating a few weeks ago the 75 years of the IUCN. Sorry, it's not a delay, but it's late for not really late, but it's a long week and a long pathway. So I hope that you could understand. So thanks a lot, Patrick, for your powerful message from the introduction and from the last message that you have shared, and with the echo of Fontainebleau, that we are not looking at the nature, that we are already part of the nature since day one. So thanks a lot for reminding us this. And also thanks all our speakers in Duplex, from Dubai, from Asia, from Africa, and our speakers on stage here, starting also from you, Tad, in the COP28, Caroline, our great team organization with you, Joanna, Ehring, Arnaud, Hugo, today, Asma, Augustin, who were not far a few days ago, and all the colleagues who have contributed since also day one, and they will be recognized as well. Thanks to our today local partners, Epoca, who welcome us, with Jean-François and his creative team, the production who are there, the last minute but not least as well, to make it possible in time. Thanks also for you in advance, Laurent, to decarbonize the replay, because now the replay is going to start in a few seconds when we are going to close the event officially. And so, of course, the last but not least, my 2 extraordinary co-chairs, Pradeep Monga and Isabelle Tchernikovsky-Loriol, a great example, I will say, of willingness, as well with Philippe Croison, a great testimony, I will say, of the everything is possible for this 8th anniversary of the Paris Agreement, very symbolic date, first edition. I hope that now, as Antoine said, climate is every day, not only one time a year. And I will say that officially we can recognize that there is 2 pieces in one piece now, 2 disciplines maybe, but a great convergence in only one pathway, reminding us that the most of contributor, positive net contributor to avoiding and to mitigate climate change are natural carbon sink, protecting the environment. The natural carbon sink, as well noticed and quoted by Pradeep Monga, by the land use, the soil, the human activities we have also deployed since 2 or 3 centuries ago, are really, I will say, challenged. So now we recognize it officially that there is 2 pieces in one coin, I will say, not a coin but a brick now. Let's build up from it, inspire all decision makers who's going to negotiate, to make efforts currently at the COP until the final results that we can have for this year, and it's going to be the same year after year. Don't worry, it will be painful, it could be hard, but we can achieve it if we work together. And we can demonstrate that we can make it. And we need to demonstrate it. So This same piece now, let's put it in practice, because from theory, content, and practice, there is a big difference many times. And we want to say that, yes, all initiatives that could be deployed now should be connected to this new mindset, probably a new type of culture, and now probably stop talking, just listening as a message, listening to the music, and be inspired that we could be challenged for the next decade of other type of 4 seasons. So just thinking today, not for tomorrow, what could be the 4 seasons of the next decades? And I let the floor to Veronica, who support us and also transmit the music, transmit the message of this International Climate Day. And I want to say that if it could be a sharing rebirth of the season for all of you, it could be the first big step for everyone and all of us. From climate and environment science to the science of living better together on this planet. Thanks all, and just listen. See you next.